Since a month ago, Holo, hot coin has been in a lot of pumps. The market as we speak has been the best thing that has ever happened to cryptocurrencies with the gains it pulled out last month. Even with this gains, a lot of investors are still afraid as they call Holochain a scam, and some inside investors want me to elaborate more on this project. In this video, I will be telling about Holo and if Holochain is actually a scam or not. But before getting into the discussion, I'm Nee, a crypto enthusiast and investor. Please note that I'm not a financial advisor. Anything I say about coins I talk about are from my researches and opinions. So when investing in any coin I recommend, kindly do a little more research to be on the safer side and do not forget to invest wisely. Without much saying, let's get into the discussion. At the moment, Holo is trading at $0.2012 with a market capitalization of around $200 million and a 24-hour trading volume of $14 million. Holochain is a crypto which I trust. I'm not going to the public saying Holochain is a failed coin because I'm not seeing that. In fact, Holo is still at its top of the game. This project has crossed over $200 million, which is crazy for a crypto that people call scam. The problem is the investors. They dive into cryptocurrency expecting everything to be rosy, and they get very scared when things do not go their way. For me, I still believe in Holochain and I will keep filling my bags until the coin gets to over $1 billion, which I want y'all to do as well. You looking at the price analysis, you can tell that Holo is still at its lowest price point, and it will be so wise of you to buy now, because buying now means you are buying at a discount price, which can give you massive gains when Holo start pumping in price. Before ending this video, let's get into the details on Holo hot coin so you can know about Holochain fully before you decide to buy or not. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and invest wisely. Without much saying, let's get into the discussion. Holo is a decentralized hosting platform built on an architecture called Holochain. Holo fulfills the promise of blockchain by leveraging the scalable architecture of Holochain to accomplish two primary feats. In recent years, blockchain, and things that run on blockchain, have risen in popularity and entered into more mainstream awareness. This has generated excitement about the new possibilities for decentralized approaches to currencies, web applications, data ownership, and collective governance. Some early implementations have been demonstrably useful, yet large current architectures have hampered scale applications. The focus on the specific architecture of blockchain has yielded a kind of tunnel vision, even though its massive inefficiencies and scalability hurdles are well known. Blockchain currently consumes more than 0.1% of the world's electricity to power less than 0.0001% of the world's finances, or in the form of crypto tokens with wildly fluctuating, speculative value, and no inherent redeemability. Some devotees claim the value of a cryptocurrency is based on how much energy it wastes to use it. Rather than requiring specialized processors for massive computation for mining, we present an alternative approach to reach large scales even with low-powered computing devices. Holo is intended to be scalable, secure, and stable enough to be the foundation for a new crypto economy. To accomplish this, Holo must provide high-speed crypto accounting, massive transaction volumes with high enough efficiency to minimize overhead, and a cryptocurrency that is stable enough for normal people to rely on for their livelihoods. It must also be structured with proper incentives for participation and provide adequate resources for the maintenance of its infrastructure. Holo mobilizes computing resources which can be fairly easily measured in terms of bandwidth, storage, and CPU time or cycles. As network computing power and access to high-speed connectivity expands, costs and prices will be driven downward. The fee infrastructure involved with traditional financial transactions does not map well onto this problem space, owing to the very small, but very frequent transactions it services. The toll of having to pay a bank a 3% charge plus a $0.25 transaction fee on a $0.00025 transaction obviously makes such a system unfeasible. People can't pay over 1,000 times the cost of computing power in transaction fees. The computational overhead of blockchain poses the same problem. When every node must agree about every state change on a global ledger, it takes drastically more computing to account for that bit of computation than the original computation provided. The computational cost of consensus management, whether through the hash churning of proof of work or the betting markets of proof of stake, requires an unnecessary amount of extra state processing that carries inherent scaling limitations. One should not incur millions of times the computing power in accounting overhead to provide a small amount of hosting. For Holo to service mainstream internet markets, it must be able to host large peer-to-peer versions of applications similar to Slack, Twitter, or even Facebook. Accounting capacities for the computation obviously must scale with the application's usage. As such, Holo must exceed the capacities of the current blockchain throughput of a few transactions per second by at least 1,000,000-fold. With widespread enough usage, we expect to surpass financial exchange backbones like the Visa network, which has a maximum estimated capacity of 56,000 transactions per second. For Holo to serve the trillions of small computational interactions that it will need to handle, we've designed its currency system to support millions of transactions per second and account for service provision in batches. The batching is facilitated by signed service logs, which record signed requests and their associated signed responses, along with the underlying computational metrics to deliver them. When the log on a device accumulates enough microcharges to cross the billing threshold, in terms of time elapsed or charges accumulated, it generates a proof of service invoice for the services performed. Holochain is a fully peer-to-peer architecture that enables applications to run with no centralization at all. However, to bridge between a fully peered world and the website functionality people are familiar with, Holo builds the bridge to the centralized web. Full details 21 are in the hosting paper, but one example involves enabling people to type a domain name into their web browser and provide domain name services, DNS, to resolve, in order to connect them with a cluster of hosts for the application they are trying to reach. We are used to thinking of the web as decentralized, but once someone has experienced fully decentralized spaces with no global address or name authorities, no root servers, and only content addressability via cryptographic hashes, then the aspects of centralization in the existing pattern of web and internet become apparent. So the Holo organization not only provides the necessary operating infrastructure to interface with the centralized web but maintains that infrastructure and provides security updates for the Holo software and DNS services. The funds for doing this are built into tiny transaction fees on each transaction. Since ongoing funding for open-source infrastructure projects has often been challenging, this is one strategy to alleviate that issue. Half of Holo transaction fees go toward Holochain. The fees are not only for current maintenance and services but to fund future features and infrastructure expansion. We will provide tools for crowd direction of a significant portion of these funds, as part of our commitment to transition Holo to a purely digital entity managed by its participant. At the time of launch, the percentages and timelines will be established so that the structure of this management can be coded into the governance of Holo itself. Accordingly, every currency transaction earmarks a small promise for payment of the transaction fee. This is akin to the proof of service process but involves recording a promise of payment rather than a request for payment. Whenever transaction fee promises accumulate to a threshold level, initially 1 credit, the next spending transaction must be a payment to settle those promises. No central authority needs to police payment when it's built into everybody's validation rules. Keep in mind that if someone alters their validation rules, they essentially exile themselves from everyone else's shared agreements, since future transactions will be rejected by all non-corrupt nodes. In conclusion, Holo offers a whole new breed of cryptocurrency. Unlike its predecessors, it is not a crypto token or crypto coin, but a mutual credit accounting system where every transaction is countersigned on the local chains of both counterparties. This allows us to design the crypto credits to forge new patterns of social and market behaviors that have not previously been possible. This will be the end of the video. Don't forget like, share, subscribe, and invest wisely. Thanks.